You're about to listen to a short clip from a previous conversation. For the full episode, go to our podcast channel.
I think if we want to go to the future, we should look how can we make a system which does work, which is resilient enough to be in the same sync with the whole planet. I think they're getting the right stories, getting the right words, getting the right imagination is essential to bring us to this new thinking of who we are.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a nice bridge to actually talk about your personal artistic practice and maybe also the other things that you do as an impact investor. So in my introduction, I mentioned a few titles that I think belong to you, which is an artist, photographer, and impact investor. What would you say at this moment right now, today, is the one that you identify with most?
Ooh, it's a good question because they all collide together in effect. I think that trying to get the right stories across, and I try to do with the impact investing, I try to do that as much as possible with things where stories are made. So that's documentary work. That's also platforms like Waterbear, which is a great platform if you want to get inspiration about new thinking about nature restoration projects and everything. It's a documentary. A lot of good people are joining that. Mm-hmm. And on the other side, I made a documentary myself about regeneration. I worked together with We Are the Regeneration to show a really nice project in the hills of Catalonia in the Pyrenees, where a river is drying up, in fact. And that whole river, which is called the Muga, that's also the name of the documentary. And Muga, it sounds a bit like mother, but it is like a mother because what the river does, it gives water to the whole north of Costa Brava. Mm. And I mean, Costa Brava, that's where all the people go for holidays, a lot of people, yeah. And where they fill up their swimming pools and where they're very dependent on water. And nobody gets the relationship that if the river doesn't flow, there is not going to be water. And we just think, oh, no, it's going to be fine. It's not going to be fine. It's a huge problem. Mm-hmm. And also fire, if things are drying out, it's a huge problem. And the whole ecosystem within the whole Catalonia, within the Pyrenees, is not in the right, doesn't work because there's too many oak trees which are sucking up the water.
Right, yeah.
Because of a system of coal. It's a complicated story.
Yeah, the balance, it's not in balance anymore, basically.
It's not in balance. And the whole documentary explains that how nature works, how people work, and how they can work together. And it's all about regeneration.
So that is a recent project that you participated in actually making the documentary yourself.
Yep. So together with a team, of course.
Yeah, of course. And there in that project, you had the role. It was more of an artistic role because you were directing or filming the documentary.
Well, there's another filmer, but together we made the story together. Mm-hmm. And I found it the voice of the river was one of the things which was quite exciting to do, but worked really well. And I was also the initiator of it because I knew both the projects, both the foundations of We Are the Regeneration, telling the stories of a lot of people who are busy with ground up rooting projects to really bring back life into different areas. Mm-hmm. And then this concrete project of this Dutchman, Stefan Donge, who is with a lot of people around him, regenerating 100,000 hectares of the Pyrenees for fire prevention and getting back life again, like the water flowing and the animals back again. And it's a fascinating story to tell. And also we hoped with the movie that it's not only to explain people, but also to give the feeling of belonging again. Mm-hmm. So we filmed it in a way that people really want to belong and want to participate in these kind of things.
It's a beautiful documentary. I've watched it myself, of course. I am curious for you as a photographer as well, when you use a lens to tell other people's stories, and in this case with the camera, you're using that lens to visualize the story of the Muga Valley and of the community in that area. How do you think a camera helps you, or what does this lens that you carry with you mean to you?
I think what a lens does is it of course it's your framing. Mm-hmm. Whenever you're using a camera, you're using a frame, and you're directing people to get them to see something and move them in a way if you do it the right way.
You are listening to a short clip from a previous conversation. For the full episode, go to our podcast channel. Thank you for listening to The Art of Coexistence, a podcast produced by Ourcelium Publishers. Editing by Axel Frühmann, music by Mark Oman, and hosted by me, Daphne Frühmann. Find us on your favorite podcast app and give us a follow, like, subscribe, and/or share, and we'll see you again soon.